We do have a game tonight, though. Yay, basketball's back. Kind of. Pacers at Celtics. It is game one, and yep, this is going to be ooh, those numbers are large. Boston favored by a ton. However, reminder,
680 was better.
The Pacers beat the Celtics twice this year. So, Chandler, I think we're all sort of thinking this is going to be a blowout. I'm hoping it's not. What do the Pacers need to do to make this interesting?
Well, they got to do what got them here. They got to play fast. When Boston scores, they don't hang their head. They get the ball out. They get out in transition. Do what gave them success during this regular season. They are an elite offensive team. Tyrese Halliburton is an elite point guard. When he was aggressive in the last round, they won a lot of games. Who's going to guard Siakam? That's going to be an interesting matchup because whoever it is, either it's going to be Tatum or Brown, they're going to have to be two-way players this series because Siakam was really, really good in the first two series. But when it's Halliburton and it's Siakam and Miles Turner and they're playing at a fast Carlisle clip with a lot of pick and roll, a lot of transition, it's exactly what they have to do. They have to wear them down because we all know how good the Boston Celtics are in the half court. We all know how good defensively are, but they got to cause turnovers and they got to get out in transition and do what they do best.
Lou, Draymond Green's been talking. Called the Pacers a, quote, regular season team and also said that someone had to make it. It's the East. I mean, that's technically true. Look, I've also sort of made fun of it a little bit. I guess I can't make fun of Draymond for this, but are we not giving enough credit to Indiana?
They deserve credit. They're in the Final Four, right? They have an opportunity just as well as the other three teams that are there. I think the one thing that we forget about the Indiana Pacers, sure, they had their inconsistencies this year, but they also had injuries. Siakam was out for a bit. Miles Turner was in and out for a bit. Tyrese has dealt with some of his injuries or whatever, but I thought they got healthy at the right time. They had their whole group back. T.J. McConnell gave them great minutes.
Yeah.
Nimhart and other gentleman that got a Nim in his name.
Neesmith.
Yeah, it's hard. I know.
Yeah, so
like Scheffler and Schauffele. Same thing.
They got good minutes out of a lot of guys, so I think they deserve the credit where it's due. They're there. But Draymond, you know, he's going to say some colorful things on his podcast, I'm sure, to get people going. But they deserve a lot more credit than that.
Half the battle is being healthy and having some luck. And the Indiana Pacers have been fortunate up to this point of them being healthy. They're also still losing. They lost Benedict Mathurin, who was arguably their second best player before they made the Siakam trade. So they also had a little bit of adversity. And you can't discredit them just because Philly had injuries. And Milwaukee, they still handled their business. They still beat the Milwaukee Bucks. They still just advanced last round. So they went into Madison Square Garden and won Game 7. So you can't discredit them. Now when you're looking at the the Celtics matchup, it's a whole nother monster. And I look at the Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday matchup. If Hallie wants to separate himself from all these other younger guards that we're talking about, the Maxis, the SGAs, the Brunson, go do it on the biggest stage in the NBA playoffs right now in the Eastern Conference Finals against arguably the best point guard defender in Drew Holiday. So this is a huge matchup for him. I hope he's super aggressive, and I think he will be.
It is interesting because any article, any sort of betting, anything at all, Halliburton's left out. They're taking like the star from each other team.
And he's the only one still playing.
I know.
And he's an Olympian, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But on the Celtics side of things, Kristaps Porzingis, we haven't seen him on a court in quite some time. His availability for this series looks like what?
There's still no clarity. This is still a week-to-week injury. It was a non-contact calf strain. It's similar to how Giannis strained his, and so he's doing more and more on the court from what I'm told. They're still evaluating it week to week, but a lot of it will depend on how the tenor of the series goes, right? Like if they go up 2-0, 3-0, if this situation where the Celtics can make sure they need him in the finals. They need to make sure he's right when it matters most, especially an injury like that where you could be averse to either re-injuring it or having even more of a catastrophic injury.
So that's my question then. Do you need him if you're Boston to win this series, or can you sort of play it a little bit to where maybe rest him and keep him for the finals?
I think they're good enough to beat the Pacers without him, but for them to win the finals, for them to go and beat Dallas or Minnesota, I think they need to be fully healthy. And they're good enough. They're going to have to get production from Horford, Cornette, Sam Hauser. They're going to really need his shooting in this series because it's just the pace Indiana plays. They're going to want to go back and forth a little bit. So missing your stretch big man, your pick and pop guy, your mismatch guy off the block post up will hurt a little bit, but I do think they have enough with Tatum, with Brown, with Drew Holiday, with these guys to still get this series done.
Yeah, I think they have enough, but I'm also on the other side of it where he's got to get some minutes before, the predicted finals run, right? He got to go out there and get 10, 15 minutes, start getting his footing and getting his rhythm back because you throw a guy out there in the finals for somebody that's never been there, that's a lot of pressure on them and expect them to have high-level productions, So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in this series at some point, but it's going to be much needed.
Can I say this about this series? all the pressure's on Boston. All season long, we've been talking about Boston winning a championship.
Yeah.
There is zero pressure, zero expectations. The Pacers have already blown everything.
It's their championship
out of the water.
to lose.
This is theirs.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about it. So the Indiana Pacers, they're going to go out there. They're going to play even more free, even faster. No such thing as a bad shot. So I honestly, if they're going to win a game, I like them sneaking game one tonight with plus. There it is, right there. Plus. That's to win the East.
There
Plus
you go.
700.
Yeah. It could happen. You know what? I say it goes 6. Series goes 6. That's my prediction.
I mean, it could be a sweep. It's just so unpredictable just how they play. But yeah, I mean, there's not just going to be a cakewalk like people think.
Yeah, plus 370. There you go. Put your money.
That's just for
You
the
gonna parlay that, or are you gonna make like one big bet?
I don't like that just for the game.
What? Why?
I thought what's the plus 700 to win the series?
No, that was to win. Yeah, to come out of
that's
the
out.
East.
Yeah, it's
That
tough.
$1,000 bet is out.
Okay. Well,
I thought that was
that's
for
fun.
game one. I'm not touching it.
Just like that.
Yeah.
What are you looking at in this series, Shams? One big thing.
Well, Boston has all the expectation as far as it's a championship buster season. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, that's the only thing they haven't done. They've been to conference finals before. They've been in the NBA finals a couple years ago when they lost against the Warriors in 6 games. So they know what's at stake, and I think they're going to come ready for the task here.
Yeah. Now I kind of want. Now you're sort of convincing me to go in on this one. Am I thinking Pacers right now? What's happening?